Hey again. Um, so I figured I would do a more updated video on Hyperemesis hyper. I can have. What is my bug? I can never pronounce Scooter. I can never pronounce the word right. It's Hyperemesis Gravidarum, which most women call HG for short. Um, I When I was pregnant with my daughter, I found out I was like 3 weeks and 3 days is when I found out I was pregnant, and um, how I figured was, well, for one, my period was late, and not only that, but my body was just giving off all these crazy signals, and so I just kind of knew. But anyways, when I hit 6 weeks and 3 days, that's when my severe morning sickness kicked in, and I was getting really worried. I couldn't keep any food down, I couldn't keep any fluids down, I couldn't keep anything down, and I went to the hospital, or the ER rather, and they wanted to check to make sure it wasn't like a ectopic pregnancy or anything like that, or a false pregnancy, which they really thought it was. And so they found out on the ultrasound that it wasn't. I was just really sick. So I got IV fluids and whatnot at around, I think I was about 7.5 weeks. And when they did the IV fluid with the Zofran, I was fine. But my doctor put me on Reglan, which I took it for not even a week, and I had to stop it. I told him, I'm like, I'm not taking this anymore. It literally made me, like, wig out. And I wasn't comfortable with that. I didn't like it. I couldn't sit still. I was very antsy, and I couldn't, like, if I was sitting on a chair, like, I would just be, my legs going, everything's going, and I just couldn't sit still. And so I would get up, move to the other sofa, antsy, get up, move to the bed, try to lay down. I had had enough. It was helping me some to not get sick, but it was horrible. And so that's when my doctor tried Phenergan, and that was a major fail because I couldn't even swallow the pills. So that's when my doctor, said Zofran, which unfortunately at the time my insurance wouldn't cover Zofran because, excuse me, it was like $45 a pill, and I would have to take it every 12 hours, and my insurance wouldn't cover it, and I sure as heck couldn't afford it, so I basically was just in and out of the ER for fluids and Zofran that way. Between, like I said, 6 days, or 6 weeks, 3 days, up until I want to say about 20 weeks, is when it started to taper off some. But it was really bad. Like, it got to the point where I would just down really cold bottles of water just to throw them up. It was so bad. I lost 40 pounds within the first month. I had no support. I had nobody. I was basically by myself. And I was absolutely miserable. And I think I know it's hereditary on my mom's side of the family because my mom had it, and my grandmother had it the worst. Like, she almost died with my mom, I guess, or she was, like, really bad. Like, far off worse than what I was. But, it does run on her side of the family, so it just, by chance, I was to get it. But, you know, when you don't have, like, that moral support, I think it makes it that much more worse. When you're stressed out and worrying because, you know, you're having marital issues and all you do is fight, and, like, I know that doesn't help at all. And then when you have people that, you know, were supposed to be your supposed family, they sit there and basically call you a faker to your face, saying that you're making it up and you just don't want to be around them. It's like, are you kidding me? How do you fake losing 40 pounds in a month? You know, I guess it just didn't appear that not everybody goes through the same pregnancy. Just because you had a glowing pregnancy doesn't mean that everybody else around you is going to have a glowing pregnancy, you know? So, yeah, I had a really tough pregnancy. Like, it wasn't what I had expected it to be. But I noticed that when I hit about 14 weeks, I was able to start holding down, like, fruit. So I would get, like, those big fruit bowls from Publix, and it was either watermelon or strawberry. That's all I could really hold down. So I would eat a whole big thing of watermelon. I would try to chew on, like, ice cubes, just because that was really the only way that I could keep water down, I guess, and stay hydrated. It was a battle because, like I said, you know, I just couldn't afford the Zofran, and so I was in and out of the hospital and just fighting it and trying to make myself, you know, keep food and liquids down. Scooter. My dog is crazy. But yeah, so Scooter. Oh, he's my squiscoo. I know it has nothing to do with HG, but hey, my cuckoo, I just got my cuckoo. He just turned 8 years old on the 6th. Huh? Yeah. Say hi. Say hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. My baby. So anyways, getting back on topic. But yeah, so, between 14 weeks or so, I was able to start eating, like, normal foods, but I had to be careful because, like, I remember I was, like, 18 weeks, you know, I was like, oh, hey, I can finally start eating foods, and at that point, I think I ate a whole bag of, like, barbecue potato chips, and bad move. I had the worst indigestion and puking pretty much the whole day. So, yeah, that was pretty bad. So I had to watch what I ate. After that, I was pretty much okay. I still had trigger foods like meats, chicken, steaks. Like, if I was anywhere around meat, forget it, I was running. I noticed that earlier on in my pregnancy, when I was really, really sick, the one thing that I was craving was McDonald's French fries and sweet and sour sauce, and shockingly, that was like the only thing I could keep down. So, I just did what I could, and when I went in for my 21-week checkup, and my gender checkup, they scared me, and I think the technician that was doing my ultrasound was just in such a big rush to get out of work to go on her vacation or whatever, that she thoroughly just put a scare in me, telling me that there was something wrong with my daughter, and that she had something wrong with one of her heart chambers. And of course, I was happy I had a girl. I was having a girl, which I knew instinctively I was already having a girl, so I didn't really need them to tell me because I just knew. But you know, at the same time I'm happy, I'm sitting here blowing my eyes out because I'm sitting here thinking my child's going to need heart surgery as soon as she's born. So I went to a specialist, which they told me there was absolutely nothing wrong with her. They didn't know what they were talking about, which was a big relief. But HG is not, it's not something to joke about, you know. And I noticed, like, the doctors that I had this time, I had 7 different doctors that rotated, and they didn't take me seriously at all. They just basically told me, said, here, have some fucking crackers and ginger ale and you'll be good to go. And it's like, why don't you eat a cracker? Because I can't, you know. I got so upset. It's like, you know, what am I supposed to do? They could never draw blood because I was so dehydrated. You know, it's crazy. And I think now, you know, 7 years later, they've done a lot more in-depth research on HG and how to help women that have it. You know, like I've mentioned in one of my videos before, you know, me and my husband are planning on having, you know, more children, at least one more. And it scares the crud out of me to think that I could have another HG pregnancy, which I'm sure I will. But I need to be able to know that, you know, whatever doctor I choose to go to, because I do need to find a new one because we moved. But the fact that, you know, we want more children, this is probably going to be my last pregnancy, but it scares the crap out of me to think that I would have to go through it all again and have doctors that don't know what they're talking about. It's really, really scary. So my goal is from here on until I find a doctor is to find somebody that knows what they're talking about, knows what they're dealing with, and knows how to treat, or, you know, knows what kind of treatment to offer, and make it to where I can at least have, or try to be comfortable and not be, you know, throwing up all the time and in and out of hospitals for IVs and fluids and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's like, I remember, like, seeing all these women and friends and stuff that were pregnant, and they were just glowing and so happy, and I just wanted to smack them because I'm just like, how are you able to enjoy your pregnancy? Like, I'm sitting here, like, dying. That's literally how I felt. I was dying. And, you know, it actually got to the point where, I wouldn't have gone through with it, but I got so depressed at, like, 10 weeks that I didn't want to be pregnant anymore. I was just so depressed, and I couldn't deal with the fact that I couldn't do any daily activities, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I mean, I couldn't do anything. My body was so drained. And the fact that I didn't have any support either really made it that much worse, and I didn't want to go through it anymore. But I'm glad that I stuck it out because, you know, I have a very beautiful daughter now, and I love her to death, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for her. You know, it was definitely well worth the wait. The outcome is a gorgeous baby, but I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's the worst. So I'm hoping that I can either find a doctor or midwife or something that has dealt with this and done their research, and that way, you know, I can have a decent pregnancy because, you know, me and my husband after the wedding, when we started trying before I get too old, but my body is also not a young chicken anymore. I'm 27. Yeah, people would say, "Oh yeah, you're still young," but I have a lot of health issues that I'm dealing with, and I was in a car accident. Oops, excuse me, my nose is itchy. I was in a car accident in October that, I don't know, excuse me, I don't know how I walked away from. I should be dead right now, you know, or, I mean, severely injured, which, if I hadn't had my seatbelt on, you know, I wasn't driving or anything like that, I was the passenger, but if I hadn't been wearing my seatbelt, like, something told me to put my seatbelt on, and if I hadn't been wearing it, I would have gone through the windshield and I probably would have been dead. But before, you know, things get any worse, I do want to, you know, start trying, and hopefully by the time I'm 29 or so, we'll have another one and I'll be done, because I don't want any more after that. And I'm just praying that this pregnancy, whenever that happens, will go smoothly. Not be so rough on me this time, but we'll see. But yeah, you know, people just don't understand what HG really is all about. And you know, I say, if you know you have a doctor that's telling you that you're fine, it's normal, and you know, have a cracker, or drink some ginger ale, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm looking for another doctor that knows more about this, because it's not normal, and it needs to be taken seriously, because you can either A, lose your own life, or B, you can lose your child's life because of malnutrition, dehydration, everything. So it's just finding the right doctor that knows what they're doing and knows how to treat, and that's my goal, and hopefully I'll find that doctor. But yeah, so everybody or anybody who is dealing with that struggle and that aspect, you know, just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that it's not going to last forever, and that you're going to get a beautiful baby out of it. And you know, hold your head up high, and you know, whatever support you need, look for it. You know, if it's a husband, a spouse, a partner, family, whoever, therapist, whatever, you know, just know that you have somebody there to help you. And don't ever let yourself get to the point where you're so depressed that you know, you become suicidal or whatever. You know, it's tough, but you'll get through it. You know, us women, we're strong. We're made strong. We can get through anything. You know, men get a head cold and they're boo-hooing, and we're pushing out 10-pound babies with no medication, no pain meds, no nothing. You know, we are very strong for what we have to, you know, go through. So, but yeah, you know, just stay strong, and you'll get through it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.